Justice, Public Safety, and today on the agenda we've got representatives from Justice and Public Safety Cabinet and the Department of Juvenile Justice. And if we could go ahead and call the roll.
Representative Bray, Representative Decker, Representative Kulkarni, Representative Sharp, Representative Bowling,
Here.
Representative Elliott, Representative Petrie, Chair Dietz.
Present. First, we had approval of the minutes from the last two meetings. We don't have a quorum, so I'll pass that, and perhaps by the end we'll have it. If not, we'll pass it to the next meeting. So first on the agenda today is Justice and Public Safety, and if you want to make your way to, representatives want to make their way up to the front. And once you're seated, if you want to turn your light on and introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Hillary Daly. I'm Deputy Commissioner of Support Services for the Department of Corrections.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
If you want to go ahead with your presentation, you can.
Sure. The Cabinet and Department did request additional funding to take over the operations of Lee Adjustment Center. $2.2 million in fiscal year 27 and $5.2 million in fiscal year 28. New funding for additional expenses is very limited in the next biennial budget. The governor's budget did not recommend this additional funding. And I'm happy to take any questions you may have about this budget request.
Yes, thank you. So my understanding from prior meetings that we've had, this is one of the Lee Adjustment Centers, one of the last privately owned facilities we have. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you talk a little bit about where the savings is to lease versus having them continue to operate?
Well, in statute, it's KRS 197, 510, Section 13. Any privately operated prison is required to operate at a 10% cost savings to the Commonwealth compared to a similarly operated state facility.
So do you know what the cost savings is?
There's a difference in state employee salaries versus the contractor.
And do you have a dollar amount that you know what the cost savings would be?
I do not have that. I don't have updated salary information from the contractor.
Do you know how the state leasing and operating at the Lee Adjustment Center fits into the department's long-term strategic goals?
Well, the governor and the department have always supported all correctional institutions to be operated by the department, and long-term we would like to move towards the model that's been successful at Southeast State, where the department operates all adult correctional facilities.
Do you have any questions? I do. Okay. Representative Bowling.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for being here today. At the beginning, you said, was this in the governor's recommended budget or was not?
It is not.
Okay, all right. All right. That's really all I wanted to clarify, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right. No other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. If you all could go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Good morning. I'm Randy White, the Commissioner for the Department of Juvenile Justice, and with me I have Brian Locke. He's an Executive Staff Advisor, Brian Locke Esquire. Did I get that right?
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to be with you this morning. Over the past 5 years, there have been historic investments in DJJ to address critical recruitment and retention issues, and we've seen improvements to staffing across the department. This includes a 10% pay raise at the direction of Governor Beshear in December 2021 for all security positions within the department. In 2022, the legislature included an 8% pay raise for all state employees, including DJJ. In October of that year, youth workers' starting salaries were further raised, and in February 2023, Governor Beshear raised the starting salaries at DJJ to $50,000. In the 2023 session, the General Assembly included funding to sustain those salary increases for DJJ and provided $4.8 million to increase the salaries for all DJJ workers. 3 years ago, the starting pay within juvenile justice detention centers was only $30,000. Today, it's $50,000. DJJ is also heavily investing in improving its mental health and medical staffing. For the first time, every facility, meaning detention centers and youth development centers, every facility has a treatment director or licensed clinical social worker / psychologist, mental health associate, just to be specific. And 2 facilities are in the process of hiring a second treatment director. As DJJ has testified before, there's been historical difficulty in recruiting and retaining correctional officers. Additionally, the department facilities in Jefferson and Campbell counties have historically had higher vacancy and turnover rates, major metropolitan areas, stiff competition with private industry and other government entities. DJJ has HR staff dedicated to recruitment and hiring, and they are kept informed timely and appropriately for recruitment efforts on newly opening facilities. These recruitment efforts include strategies such as attending hiring events, increased presence on social media, to include Indeed and LinkedIn, possible radio and or newspaper advertisements, but I think the young people are online rather than listening to the radio or on the news and reading the newspapers. And reaching out to surrounding colleges in efforts to fill positions. Now, there are some known barriers to recruiting. One of them is the move away from a traditional pension system for employees in the Tier 3 retirement status, which reduces incentives to work hazardous duty type jobs. There are barriers to employee retention as well. DJJ's starting pay is improved, but staff leave for physically safer positions, in part because of uncertainty around whether there will be continued salary increases for state employees and the final value of their Tier 3 retirement benefits. The department is working on internal roster management to ensure that the staff positions that are filled are being utilized efficiently and effectively. Improvement of processes is just as critical to successful operations as increased staff. DJJ will not retain staff that are not suited to work in the juvenile justice system. Staff are being held accountable and suspended or terminated where appropriate. DJJ will continue to prioritize safety through retaining good employees and not sacrificing quality for quantity. DJJ continues to improve the training processes and resources available to employees in an effort to ensure employees have the tools they need to be successful. So that concludes the talking points, and I'm happy to try to answer any questions or to have discussions.
Thank you. You talked a little bit about some of the barriers to recruiting and retention. Can you expand on those a little bit and what still exists on those barriers?
Yes, ma'am. I think there are challenges, and this is my 30th year working either in corrections or detention of some kind. And during that span of time, when you're on the ground, you see the trends and the patterns. And I think where we started seeing a significant change in our staffing within the prison system and probably within state government is when we went and we migrated from a Tier 1 to a Tier 2 to a Tier 3 system. I think a distinct barrier, and what I hear, the feedback that I get from staff is that they just worry about the what their pension is, or well, what their retirement is going to look like. They don't have a lot of faith in an IRA type of outcome. They would prefer the security of a pension system.
Where are you losing applicants to? Where are they going?
There's been challenges, as stated, since probably the beginning of the 90s. Barriers and challenges are two different things. I think challenges are things that we need to take a look at within our department. But these are structured jobs. You have to enter controlled checkpoints. They're tobacco-free facilities. You cannot carry personal cell phones within these facilities. They're very structured environments. And we typically will we'll get people that wants to work in, or they think they want to work in these type of environments, but once they do, they really, especially maybe with today's generation, they're detached from these cell phones. They want a more casual environment to work in. So it's really difficult to keep them interested in working in these stressful and controlled environments. It's just the nature of the job.
So it sounds to me maybe less about the retirement system and more about the type of job and the requirements once they get there.
No, ma'am, I think it's a combination. I think there's challenges that we can work on internally, but I do think that the staff members, from what I've saw within, the 30 years of time that I've been on the ground, the staff members, we have to be able to offer a better deal to them. And I think returning to a Tier 2 retirement system is a better deal, because once we get them, we want to keep them. Once we attract the staff members and we employ them, we want to be able to offer them the marathon, not the sprint. And I think if they look at the Tier 2 retirement system, it's a better retention in the long run.
And is there concern, in the budget request, I believe you all have asked for at least, 2 new female facilities?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we can't staff the facilities we have now, are you confident that you're able to staff those facilities?
Well, I disagree that we cannot staff the ones that we have now. The numbers, we have an upward trend right now in 2026, and I've got more specific numbers spanning the department. But regular session 2023 Senate Bill 162 required us to return to a regional model when practical, and we want to comply with the law. Right now, we're transporting female offenders from McCracken County, which is on the border of Missouri and Illinois, all the way to Ashland to house those individuals. And what we want to do is to go back to a regional model with the females, and we want to specialize treatment for female facilities. I feel very confident that we can staff those types of facilities. In the correctional and the detention environment, there are potential female employees that may not want to work with male offenders for various reasons. And I believe that if we build female facilities, we will attract those types of potential employees that may be turned off by working in a male environment. So I have confidence that we can fill those positions.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Representative Bowling.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all for being here. So you mentioned going back to a Tier 2 would help, but then you also mentioned there that we're currently seeing numbers.
Yes.
What do we have as far as vacancies? What's the total number?
Right now, spanning the department, and I'm going to give you a benchmark of January the 14th, just to be consistent with other information. Now,
Okay.
realizing these numbers shift around daily because of interviews and employment and so forth.
Right.
But this is the middle of January as a benchmark time period. So within the Department of Juvenile Justice, we had 1,339 funded positions spanning our department in total. Out of those 1,339 positions, we had filled 1,157. So there were 182 vacant positions at that time. Currently, within detention, which I get a lot of questions about detention, we have 524 positions. Out of those 524, we have 450 positions filled and 74 vacant. That includes security and non-security. So we've seen an uptick within early in 2026 in recruiting and hiring. Right now, we have 30 correctional officers in basic training, and they'll complete basic training towards the end of this month and then be available for post assignments. So we're seeing an upward trend. You go through those phases, but right now we have momentum and we're filling positions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? No other questions on that?
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And we don't, do you want to register your attendance?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to register my attendance.
Okay. And I don't think we have a quorum to do the minutes. So with that, I think we're adjourned for today. Thank you. I apologies. I'm going to go back. If you want to make your way up to the front. Completely missed that. At the beginning, I said I think I'm starting a cold, so I'm a little foggy. So my apologies. I'll use that as an excuse. Once you're seated, if you want to turn on your green button and then introduce yourselves.
Good morning. I am Rob Ratliff. I'm the Executive Director with the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council.
Elizabeth Elkins Bond. I'm the attorney assigned by OLS to the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council.
Okay, good morning. If you want to go ahead, you can start your presentation.
Okay. The requested funding includes the annual cost for one new attorney position and a paralegal position, as well as salary and benefits for one additional monitor. It also includes increased costs for the existing 3 monitor positions, as well as rent expenses for the Lexington office space. Approving this request will allow KLEC to maintain its statutory role as the oversight body for the Kentucky law enforcement training while adapting to a significantly expanded scope of responsibility. Additional funding for rent ensures that KLEC can sustain operations in its new Lexington office, which is critical to establishing clear, independent identity separate from the Department of Criminal Justice Training. This move enhances transparency, accessibility, and visibility for agencies across the Commonwealth. Funding for an additional attorney and paralegal will strengthen the council's ability to manage the growing number of decertification cases. These cases are central to protecting public trust and ensuring that only qualified, ethical officers remain certified to serve. The additional staff, legal staff, will help reduce backlogs, ensure due process, and protect both agencies and officers through timely, thorough investigations and reviews. Support for the Instructor Monitor Program will ensure KLEC can continue its role in maintaining instructional quality across all approved academies. With the number of academies growing, the monitoring workload has increased dramatically. With more than 2,100 instructors now requiring oversight every 2 years, and this number is expected to grow as more academies come online. Additional monitor will allow KLEC to maintain compliance with training standards, verify proper certification, ensure curriculum accuracy, and eliminate reliance on insufficient staff coverage. Attempting to absorb new responsibilities with current staffing levels is not sustainable and would lead to significant delays in compliance monitoring and decertification case processing. Likewise, without additional monitor capacity, KLEC risks falling behind on its statutory requirement to conduct biennial reviews of all instructors which would jeopardize both compliance and the integrity of law enforcement training statewide. This request ensures that KLEC can meet its obligations, safeguard public funds, protect Kentucky communities, and continue providing consistent, high-quality oversight to every law enforcement training academy in the Commonwealth. If you have any questions.
Thank you. Can you tell me, how many attorneys do you all have on staff now, and how many paralegals?
One, and no paralegals.
Okay. And if the 387,800 is fully funded, how many attorneys would you all hire with that, and then how many paralegals do you anticipate hiring with that?
One of each.
What's the current salary for the attorney that you have now? Do you know?
Kevin, do you have that? Would you have?
I would have to get that information to you.
Okay, that'll help.
Okay. Thank you, because as I sit here and I look at Mr. Preston sitting here, I think his ears perked up when we're talking about attorney salary. So I would like to have those numbers of what the current attorney is making, and then what you
I
anticipate.
believe we can have her respond to that. She can give you the salary amount, but not with benefits.
So my annual, I'm sorry, my annual salary is around 92. I don't know the cost of benefits included in that. So.
Okay. So this, and just help me with the 387 request. So that's for one attorney and one paralegal?
That is currently what we are asking for. To truly catch up on the backlog, I think we would need a significant, probably at least 3 attorneys. We currently have 180 cases pending. We have more than 50 complaints left to file. We'll present another 30 cases this quarter here next week. And it's just unmanageable for one person or even 2 people to handle that caseload effectively and to keep everything moving as it should.
So that number then isn't just for one attorney and one paralegal, it's for how many attorneys? I thought I heard him say one, so my apologies.
The number that we've asked for is for one attorney and one paralegal.
Okay. So if you all wouldn't mind just confirming what the current salary is for the attorney that's there. And then I think what I heard you say is that you think you need at least 3 attorneys in order to catch up on the backlog?
I would think to catch up on the backlog and keep up with the continuing. Our numbers grow every single quarter. We have, last quarter, I think we presented 26 cases. This quarter, we'll present 30 cases to the POPS committee that very well may be referred on to a 13B hearing. And then on top of that, there are other duties that are involved, advising the agency, participating in any kind of circuit court proceedings around the state, whatever happens, whatever comes up, and then advising agencies around the state about not only the revocation law, but the rest of the laws that KLEC, that impact law enforcement agencies around the Commonwealth. So I would think the number that we would need to effectively catch up and keep up would be higher than the one that we've requested. But we've only historically, DOCJT and KLEC were fairly well combined, and we shared an attorney. And then 3 years ago, they hired me to fill an attorney spot just for KLEC. And I've done the best I could with that backlog. We have, like I said, we have almost 100 cases pending, and then another 80-ish to file. So it's just not feasible within a 37.5-hour work week. And I've already gotten one block 50 because I have to work a lot of overtime to keep up with that. And even then, it's not truly manageable. So
What's the current staff you have now?
I don't have a staff. It's me.
Okay, so no secretary, no paralegal. It's just you doing drafting.
There is an administrative assistant assigned to help with scheduling, arranging for court reporters, hearing officers, scheduling hearings, whatever the need may be. But she also has other duties that are KLEC rather than just solely OLS. So
Okay, thank you. Representative Sharp?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good to see you again, Chief. I have a question about KLEC. If memory serves me correct, do you guys certify the curriculum and the lesson plans coming from the different academies?
Yes, we do.
Okay. How many academies are there now?
We have about 8 academies,
And
and that's not including telecommunication.
all
There's
right.
3 of those,
so how many law enforcement academies?
about 8.
8. Where are they at?
You have DOCJT, Kentucky State Police,
Lexington,
Owensboro,
Louisville-
Lexington, Louisville,
Owensboro. Okay. And
Bowling Green,
Bowling Green.
Northern Kentucky.
Okay. I didn't realize they expanded the academies to these other areas.
And then DOCJT has satellite locations
yeah.
in different areas, including Ashland, everywhere from Ashland to,
And that's
Western
increased your
Kentucky.
guys' workload tremendously?
yes.
Okay. Now, so it sounds like they've doubled the academies. Is that a fair statement?
That's pretty fair. yes.
Okay. Has your staff doubled or increased at all?
No, our total staff is about 15.
And it's been 15 for how long?
As long as I can remember. I've only been in this position, but I was on the council previously when I was active in law enforcement. But it's about the same as it was years ago, and I was from 2008 to 2016.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Chief. I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Representative Bowling?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question on the increase in rent. It looks like you're moving to a state-owned. Have you moved, or when does this move take place?
We moved August 1st of 24.
Okay. And what prompted the move?
To further that distancing between DOCJT and Kentucky Law Enforcement Council,
Okay.
with us being the oversight for all the academies, including DOCJT, it just seemed like we needed to have that separation.
Mm-hmm.
Too many people looked at us like one organization, and we weren't.
Okay. So were y'all paying rent before? But now that you've gone on your own, you've got to.
There again, Kevin, do you know if they paid rent at DOCJT?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Then I think that will conclude the testimony.
Okay.
We still do not have a quorum. I don't think there's anything left on the agenda. So that'll conclude the meeting for today. Thank you.
Thank you. I did.